It's ridiculous they hit the Russia.
Bye.
We had 1 minute to do a call.
Welcome to a voyage of discovery and awareness of the richness, the diversity, the often surprising nature of living with the land.
Yes!
Begins as dramatic and sudden changes are sweeping over the land. The approaching storm may seem violent and destructive to us, but to nature, it's a new beginning in the cycle of life.
It's up there. Let's go in.
Chocolate?
Let's go chocolate. No way.
Beneath the surface of the land,
And that's it?
roots trap water from the flowing mud, extracting precious nutrients and minerals. These elements, when combined with sunlight, create the diverse living systems of our planet.
They have real food here. Brazilian.
The waterfall.
One of those living systems is the rainforest, home to the most amazing concentration of life on our planet. These dense and beautiful forests cover only a tiny portion of the Earth's surface, but they contain more than half of its plant and animal species. Rainforests are also extremely rich and productive living systems, providing us with oxygen, food, medicines, and other elements essential to our lives.
Take pictures of the answer, okay? Don't do it here. There's a bunch of ways to get in there. The flights to LaGuardia.
In the desert, nature has created a very different, but no less beautiful living system.
Is that
And while this arid landscape may
shorter?
seem lifeless, it is very much alive.
Shorter right home.
The plants and animals that have learned to survive in these harsh conditions make use of what little water they can find and avoid the scorching rays of the relentless sun.
Where are you going tomorrow? We're going early tomorrow?
The American prairie once appeared as desolate as the desert, but over time, rainwater and nutrients gradually penetrated the hard surface of this land. Even the hooves of the mighty buffalo helped create the rich soil that would one day become home to the
I'm sorry,
American
but it's
farm.
horrible. They made me
Prairie
horrible.
dogs.
Dale's pictures of prairie dogs.
What?
Did prairie dogs. That means you want the picture.
Bison.
Buffalo.
Buffalo. Who lived in Buffalo? All right.
How many times have we been on this ride?
50? This
What
is
does it matter?
because we had to rush for Daniel.
Okay, you should rush for you also. Rush them out also.
That's
Of
why he
all
likes
the
roast on the
forces
truck.
at work on the land,
He wasn't expecting the
humans
dogs.
have had one of the most
What he
profound
said
effects.
the chickens. He wants both. He wants both, the dog and the
Led
chickens.
to the enormous use and sometimes overuse
Chickens,
of
Dale said.
land. In our search for more efficient ways to grow food,
Are we
we
taking
often
away by 12?
fail to realize the impact of our methods.
$75 change fee.
We're gonna go
So
shopping.
how much is that for 4 people?
75, 150, 300?
Right.
Today,
Let's go out shopping
we're
tomorrow.
learning to live with the land,
Well,
discovering better ways to grow food that will assure both human and environmental well-being.
I don't want to go to class Tuesday.
Why?
I'm sick of it, but I have to. Do
Why?
you have to remember?
In arid regions, we're learning to produce food on desert seacoasts by developing and
Kevin,
catching
Kevin?
farms that thrive on salt water. In Japan, we're learning that by By mixing leaves and other living materials into our soil, we can make farmland more fertile without the need for chemicals. Here at Epcot, we're learning to reduce the need for chemical pesticides by breeding and using natural predators, like ladybugs and wasps, to control pests. In the farmlands across America, we're learning that by
How
plowing
will we meet tomorrow's growing needs for food production, yet still respect the needs of the land? Some of the answers are being discovered just ahead. To help us maintain these carefully controlled ecosystems, and for your safety, please remain seated in your boat at all times.
Is this where we want to go for Christmas? We went to the Christmas decorations. How do you know you want to see Christmas decorations?
Welcome to our living laboratory, where scientists from Epcot and the U.S. Department of Agriculture are exploring innovative ways to produce bountiful harvests now and into the future.
Happy holidays, everyone.
The tropics are home to the greatest diversity of plants on the planet.
Yes.
Many of these, like papaya, bananas, cacao, coffee, and rice, are well known
I
around
crave
the
rice.
world. These are just a few of the edible plants that have been an important source of nutrition for people living in the tropics. Many are rich in vitamins and minerals, while others are well adapted to growing in less than ideal conditions. Some, like the water lily, thrive in wet, swampy areas and waterways. All parts of this plant, even the flower petals, are edible. The starchy root of the plant has long been used to make flour for baking. One day, many of these lesser-known tropical plants may be as important as the bananas growing on both sides of the boat. More than 28 million tons of bananas are eaten annually, making it the most popular fruit in the world.
What rides after this, mister?
Sorry.
No chocolate, then sorry.
Chocolate.
So where are we having dinner? 8 o'clock?
At 7:45.
When we mention farming,
What
you probably don't think of fish,
sorry, and then
but fish
there
farming,
and
or
let's go
aquaculture,
Norway.
accounts for nearly half of all the
racetrack?
seafood consumed globally.
Let's go.
Why?
Tilapia,
I've heard test shots.
bass,
They're
and
different.
That's it, right.
I don't think we'll go feature World Day. I mean, World
are
Showcase.
three of the
Right.
more popular
Because they're
crops
different.
raised by fish farmers. The sustainable system
Is
we're
that the
using
World
here
Showcase?
recycles the water in the tanks. As a result, we're able to save millions of gallons each year. Our small fish farm produces nearly 5,000 pounds of fish each year to serve in restaurants around Walt Disney World.
Good.
Innovations like this one can play an important role in our efforts to produce bountiful harvests and still protect natural resources.
Who's a vegetarian? You?
Look at that.
Well, you.
Why am I going Norway, sure?
You keep your time.
What's different? Test track.
Yes.
That's different.
It depends on the wine.
Oh, right.
While there are more than 50,000 edible plant species in the world, most of us are only familiar with the handful that make up our everyday diet. The common grains growing here, wheat, maize, sorghum, and millet, plus rice, account for nearly 2/3 of our global food consumption. Learning how to increase yields of these staples is an important goal of research around the world.
Well, the fellows be involved.
I can't do that. I'm
Monday.
staff to do that.
At what store?
Yes.
Walgreens.
Not CVS?
These plants are definitely on their way up. Innovative growing techniques like these increase yields while more efficiently using resources like water, fertilizer, and pesticides. Another innovation at work here is our integrated pest management program. By populating our greenhouses with beneficial insects that prey on harmful pests like aphids and flies, we are significantly reducing our reliance on conventional pesticides. We're growing these crops using our nutrient film system. This technique precisely controls and recycles water and nutrients. With it, we can produce over 27,000 heads of lettuce a year in this one small area. Some of our best ideas have been inspired by nature, like these fruit and vegetable trees. By growing these ground plants vertically, we can increase yields and better control diseases. These crops taste as good as they look. In fact, we serve more than 15 tons of produce from our greenhouses in restaurants here at the land every year. The future of agriculture may include innovative ideas like this vertical growing system. Plants grown in this way use a fraction of the space required by traditional growing methods. That saves water and increases production. The aquaponics system on your left combines hydroponics with aquaculture. The fish provide a natural source of fertilizer for the plants, and the plants help keep the water clean for the fish. It's another great way to produce more while using less. In our lab, Epcot scientists are working with the U.S. Department of Agriculture on a number of innovative projects. The goal of...
I don't remember. I don't think so.
No, why?
Is it new?
No.
Is that why you want to come here? This is why you want to come here for the Christmas lights.
You know about it?
No.
He knew about it.
He said he knew about it. He likes doing special holiday activities.
I know about it.
These greenhouses represent
likes
just
to-
a fraction of the work
Don't
being done
he.
worldwide to produce bountiful harvests for our growing population.
Want to go into Alistair tomorrow?
Yes.
Scientists, farmers, and even backyard gardeners are doing their part to improve the quantity and quality of foods that we all rely upon. Together, we can continue to find more ways to
Where'd you meet
increase
yesterday?
food production and protect our precious natural environment. Only then will we truly be living with the land. On behalf of Walt Disney World, we hope you've enjoyed this unique journey through our living laboratories. If you'd like a closer look, then check out the Behind the Scenes walking tour. It's a chance for the whole family to get up close and personal with the plants and growing techniques in our laboratories. Please keep your hands and feet inside the boat and remain seated until the boat comes to a complete stop.
Okay, chocolate next.
What?
Chocolate.
Welcome back, everyone. Please remain seated until the boats come to a full and complete stop. Once finished, watch your hands. Step as you exit towards the right side of the boats. On behalf of Chiquita, thanks for right. Have a great night.
Please gather all your personal belongings. Lower your head and watch your step as you exit.
Jeffries. Daniel.